Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Johanna. For those of you who are new here, welcome. For those of you who are returning, welcome back. In today's video, I'll be showing you a book I found at Barnes & Noble's that I am really looking forward to coloring in. And if that is of interest to you, please stay tuned. Okay, so last week, the last week of September, actually, I was able to go to Barnes & Noble's here in Hawaii. And while I was able to peruse the coloring book collection and saw a lot of books I've never seen before, none of them spoke to me. And then when I was in the checkout line, I saw this, quickly flipped through, and immediately knew that I had to purchase it. So it is the book Together by Luke Adam Hawker, and it is a storybook. It is not a coloring book, but it gives me kind of the vibes of The Ink House by way that it's sketchy, by way that the paper quality is nice. And I am going to be treating this in a very similar fashion in that to make the book cohesive, I probably will only use my Irojitins because they work very well on this paper, at least I think so. But I'm also going to leave the background blank. So the entire book will have this sort of off-white color. This is what I've done so far. Now that looks like it might have been part of it, but as I show you, there's actually no color in this book other than the black and white and the very sketchy art. So it again is the book Together by Luke Adam Hawker with words by Marianne Ladlaw. If I can find it on Amazon, I'll go ahead and link it below. So I'm just going to flip through it. I'm not going to read the story with you, but I just want you to see the artwork that's in here. And as you can hear, I don't know that it's watercolor paper, so I don't know how water mediums will react, but it's certainly thick enough to be able to handle it more so than some other, like Create Space books. And so some of it is very simple, like this page is very simple. I would only color that. This page, I would color this, but again, I would leave the cream as a border to make it cohesive. And I keep touching it because it feels like it should be more pages than it actually is. And I just love that. And because of the sketchiness of here, you wouldn't have to put a ton of color, but I think a little bit of color, like for this, the focus could be grays, these could be darker grays, and then this would stand out as just green amongst all of the neutrals. And that's how I might attack this book, where I want to focus on one thing or one element of the page, but still bring color to the rest of it wherever there's any line art. And again, it would still be cohesive even though this is a very dark page, because I would not be coloring the background, just the people. And the story itself, it's very poignant, it's very topical, and it's sad, but it's also, it gets you to a good place, and I like that. It makes you think. And I really like this artist's work. I started following him on Instagram, and this is absolutely his style, where it's very linear, it's very sketchy, there's very fine detail, and yet it doesn't look cluttered. This just basically is his renditions of lights and shadow. Like this. This is very impactful to me. You have 3 words and a picture. It conveys a message, and I love that. Oh, I didn't notice, but it is a bound, so it's not just glue bound. And again, some very simple pages, but very meaningful ones. And then some very dark ones. His usage of light and dark is exquisite. I can see this where you just play up the shadows with maybe dark blues and maroons and grays and black, and then this conveyed so that it almost is fluorescent in nature because that is the focus of the page. This is probably one of my favorite pages. The scale of it is beautiful. The different vignettes are beautiful, and everyone's looking out at you. And the words and the imagery are just as impactful as the other. One doesn't detract. You don't have a plethora of words on there to sort of clutter up the page. You don't have artwork where it isn't necessary. So every time you turn a page, it definitely means something. It definitely stands out. And I just think this would be so pretty colored in, but not super bright colors, but not super dark colors either. Just adding a little pop of color throughout the book. Like this, I would probably add some tones of gray, maybe some warm gray. I would add some tones of yellows and maybe oranges, but then I would really play up sort of the light element, and then I would really make this a focus because you don't really even see this because you're looking at all the different windows and you realize there's the guy with his dog. And you know that this is full of people. You don't see anything specific, and yet you see the silhouettes of the various bodies in the building. And this one is really cool too. It makes me think of, I believe it's Colin Thompson, but if you look at the different elements, they're all doing different things. And coloring each one, I think, is going to be very interesting because you're going to see and make up stories in your head. Like this guy, he's dancing with his dog. Now, all of this, the background, the wall will stay cream, but there will be different elements of color just to bring some vibrancy and some interest to this. At least that's how I plan on doing this. And I really like this. Here he's protecting himself, and here he's protecting his friend. This reminds me of the sequoias out on the west coast, I believe of California and Oregon, or maybe Washington, where you can feel small as compared to the nature around you, and you still feel connected to it because you're in it and you're part of it. How deep the roots go, I think that's very symbolic. And I didn't realize until just now, but this is a continuation of that. Oh, such a fun book. Well, no, fun's not the word. To me, it's an artistic book, but it also makes you think. It also makes you feel. This is the cover art. And they're just sitting there. And now you see there's a new element. Because where this story gets you to is knowing that when the storm passes, you get to be together. And I love that. Okay, well, that is the flip through of the book together. I don't know if I mentioned it in the beginning of the video, but I actually do plan on coloring this in order. I don't know if I'll color a page every month. Some pages are definitely going to be easier than others. But again, if I'm going to be using a very limited color palette and then focusing on just specific elements, it actually might not be that bad. But I'd love to know what you guys think. Have you guys seen this? Have you heard of this? Definitely check out the artist. I will link their Instagram below. And if I can find this on Amazon, I will link the book as well. All right, guys. Well, that's it from me for now. And as always, aloha.